Okay, Section 701, Transaction Value System. The transaction value system shall be the price actually paid or payable to the goods when sold for export to the Philippines and adjusted in accordance with the provision of 15 section, provided that there are no restriction as to the disposition or use of a goods by a buyer other than restriction that are imposed or required by laws in Philippine authorities, limit geographical area where the goods may be resold, and do not substantially affect the value of the goods. The sale and price shall not be subject to any condition or consideration for which a value cannot be determined with respect to the goods being valued. The buyer and the seller shall not be related. That the buyer and the seller shall be related. The transaction value should be accepted as a basis of customs valuation under the provisions hereof. For the purposes of this act, persons shall be deemed to be related only if they are officers or directors of one another's business, they are legally recognized of one of another's business, they exist employer-employee relationship between them, any person shall owns, control, or holds 5% of the outstanding voting stocks or shares of both buyers and the sellers. One of them directly or indirectly control other, both of them directly or indirectly controlled by the third person, and together they directly or indirectly control the third person, or they are part of the same family, including those part of affinity or consanguinity up to the fourth civil degree. Person who are associated in business in that one is the sole agent, sole concessionaire, or sole distributor. However described to the other shall be deemed to be, however described shall be related if they fall any of the 8 cases cited na preceding paragraphs. In a sale between related buyers, the transaction value shall be accepted to the as a basis of the customs valuation whenever the importer demonstrate that the transaction value approximates one of the following, approximate at or about the same time. A, the transaction value of unrelated buyers of identical or similar goods of the same country of importation. The customs value of identical or similar goods as determined under the provision of Section 704, or the customs value of identical or similar goods as determined under the provision of Section 704 of this act. So in determining the transaction value, the following shall be added to the price actually paid or payable of the imported goods, to the extent that they are incurred by the buyer but not included to the price actually paid or payable of the imported goods: commissions and brokerage fees except buying commissions, cost of container, cost of packing, whether for labor or materials, value or portion as appropriate of the following goods and services, following goods and services, materials, apportion, parts and similar items incorporated to the production of the imported goods, tools, dice, mold, and similar items used for the production of the imported goods, materials consumed for the production of the imported goods, and engineering, development, artwork, design work, sketches, plans that are necessary for the production of the imported goods, where such goods and services directly or indirectly controlled by the third person, delivered by the buyer free or charged at a reduced cost for the connection of the production and sale, for the export of the imported goods, amount of royalties and license fees intended related to the goods being valued that the buyer must pay either directly or indirectly as a condition of the sale to the goods to the buyer. Value of any part of proceeds of any subsequent resale, disposal, or use of the imported goods that occurs directly or indirectly to the buyer. Cost of transport from the port of exportation to the port of entry in the Philippines, loading, unloading, handling, charges, unloading charges of the transportation from the country of exportation to the port of entry in the Philippines, and cost of insurance, all added to the price actually paid or payable, shall be made only through the objectives and to the objectives and shall be determined only of the objectives and numerical data.